If an Israeli asks you, which Verizon is this? Or which Vodafone is this? In the Israeli Hebrew version, איזה פלאפון זה? They're not asking what you may think they are. And if they invite you on a Jeep trip, in Hebrew, טיול Jeepim, don't expect to see any Jeep there. Welcome to the secret world of how we Israelis actually speak Hebrew, where some brand names made their way deep into the language. And if you don't know this, you'll be very confused. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Shalom, I'm Inbal from Hebrew by Inbal. I'm a born and raised Israeli Hebrew educator now living in the US, and I developed my own methods that have helped thousands of people around the world get clarity and confidence in Hebrew faster than you think is possible. Before we dive in, quick disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by any of the brands that I will mention or any brand at all. I'm not promoting them or endorsing them. This is purely to teach you how we Israelis actually speak Hebrew in Israel today. And here's the thing, you won't find these in textbooks. You won't learn this in Ulpan. This is the Hebrew that happens when we Israelis speak in Israel today, and the one you should be learning if you want to connect with the people and the culture. And if you're thinking right now, oh, exactly what I want to invite you into my programs. I offer only 2 because they are all you need to get clarity and confidence in Hebrew based on your goals. So if your goal is to speak and understand Hebrew, all you need is practically speaking Hebrew. One program that will get you speaking and understanding so much Hebrew like we Israelis actually speak in no time. And if you want to read and write biblical or modern Hebrew, Hebrew 1, 2, and 3 complete all your reading and writing skills. You can take one program, both of them in any order or at the same time. Both programs come with my personal feedback and support because it is essential to get that clarity and confidence. So I will link my programs in the description, and I want to invite you completely free to my email list. This is where I share with you my most personal, valuable tips, lessons, nuances, stories, anything that I think will benefit you on this journey. Go to the description box and join my email list. You won't regret it. Okay, let's get into it. First, your phone. In Israel, when someone asks you, איזה פלאפון זה? Literally, which telephone is this? They're asking you, what kind of phone do you have? But here's the confusing part. Pelephone is one of Israel's mobile phone carriers that also sells phones, like Verizon or AT&T in the US or Vodafone in Europe. It's like you'll be in America and someone will ask you, hey, what Verizon do you have? Instead of what phone do you have? Or which carrier are you using? Now, we have proper words in Hebrew or in Israel for mobile phone. The most common ones are telephone, because now mobile phones are the primary ones. So we use telephone, that's one. Nayad, which is mobile, is another. Nayad. Celolari is another one. Celolari, or a combination. Telephone, nayad, or telephone cellulari. But specifically, Pelephone, which is one of Israel's mobile phone carriers that also sells phones, became synonymous with the word mobile phone. So you will hear people in Israel saying, איזה פלאפון יש לך? What kind of phone do you have? Or יש לי פלאפון חדש. I have a new phone. I have a new mobile phone. יש לי Pelephone Chadash. It's not necessarily from that company. We have 2 things happening here. The brand name Pelephone became synonymous with mobile phone. And when people ask you about your phone, they can ask you about your carrier rather than your phone device model. Knowing both, you will be much less confused in these scenarios. And phones are just the beginning. Wait until you hear what we do with cars. In Israel, if someone invites you on a Jeep trip, in Hebrew, טיול Jeepim, טיול is trip, Jeepim is Jeep in plural, טיול Jeepim, get excited. But know this, you may not see a single Jeep vehicle there? Because in Israel, Jeep became the generic word for any 4x4 off-road vehicle. So you'll hear Eze Jeep ze. What kind of 4x4 off-road car is this? And the most common phrase that I want you to know is Tiul Jeepim. Any off-road 4x4 trip is Tiul Jeepim. It doesn't mean that there is a single Jeep brand vehicle there. Okay, so we renamed phones and cars, but are you ready to hear what we do with snacks in Israel? And by snacks, I'm talking about Bamba. If you haven't tried Bamba before, and I believe that most of you have, but if you haven't, you are missing on one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic Israeli snack of all. It's a peanut flavored puffed corn snack in a bag in the brand Bamba. But here's how powerful this brand has become. If you hear someone asking for Bamba shush, they're asking for Bamba, the snack, and the kind is another brand called shush. They're using Bamba, which is a brand name, as a generic name for that type of snack, asking specifically for a different kind of brand for that type of snack. But instead of asking for shush, they will ask, can I have Bamba shush? As if Bamba is the chips, pretzels, popcorn, and shush is the brand. That is how deeply Bamba is embedded in the Israeli culture. The brand became the category. And Bamba in Israel is also considered the ultimate kids snack. So if we are in the world of kids, let's transition smoothly to babies. This is something that any parent with babies in Israel needs to know. We're talking diapers. The Hebrew word for diaper is chitul, chitul, singular. In plural, diapers is chitulim, chitulim. Chitul, one diaper, chitulim, diapers in plural. Quick language note, if what I'm saying sounds like cat to you, you are not crazy. Cat in Hebrew is chatul and diaper is chitul. Chatul, cat, chitul, diaper. So you are not crazy. You have a very good ear. If you were like, is she saying cat? And if you are in Israel, you're talking diapers and you hear instead of the word chitul, titul, you are also not crazy. Titul in singular and titulim in plural is a very common brand in Israel, and it became the category. You will hear people say all the time titul, the brand, instead of chitul, diaper, and titulim, the brand in plural, instead of chitulim, diapers. So you may hear in Israel, Eze titul liknot, literally asking, which diaper should I buy? Using titul, the brand, instead of chitul, which is diaper. They're using the brand name, asking which brand of diaper should they get. So if you walk into an Israeli grocery store or pharmacy and you ask for chitul, you will be understood. If you ask for titul, you will be understood and probably sound like local. Diapers, snacks, cars, phones. Are you seeing the pattern here? Because we're not done. Wait until you hear about Israeli homes. If you've ever been to just a regular family home in Israel, you've probably noticed Israeli homes have serious security doors. I'm talking the door entering the house or the apartment, not the safe room. I realized that only after living both in Portugal and now in the US. Sometimes I literally feel like my door here in the US is more like a suggestion, not like a real door. A polite way to ask if you can not come in, that would be great. I'm used to steel doors. The Hebrew word for door is delet. Delet, delet. And the Hebrew word for steel is plada, plada. Delet plada is a steel door, which is why one of the common brands in Israel for steel doors for your home is called pladelet. They put it together into one word, pladelet, steel door, which became synonymous beyond that brand to a steel door. It is not the only brand in Israel for steel doors, but you will hear many times in Israel the word pladelet, referring to any steel door. Steel doors, okay, but this next one, you'll definitely need it in case you have a headache and you're in Israel. If you have a headache and you are with Israelis or in Israel, you will probably hear the word akamol. 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 Akamol is a common brand name for paracetamol, an over-the-counter NSAID pain reliever, just like Advil in the US or ibuprofen or Nurofen in Europe. But in Israel, Acamol became synonymous with over-the-counter pain reliever. Although we have so many brands in Israel, you will hear Yesh lecha Acamol. Do you have Acamol? Paracetamol, Advil, NSAID pain reliever? Or take one, Kach Acamol. If we're speaking to a man, Kach Acamol. Take an Advil. Take an NSAID. Take ibuprofen. Kach Acamol. Or if we're talking to a woman, Kchi Acamol. Take one for your headache or for your pain. And there are so many more. So are you ready for a quick lightning round? When I was growing up, frigidaire was the word for fridge in Israel. Frigidaire was the brand. We pronounced it frigidaire, frigidaire, and that is how I remember we used to call fridge. Although the Hebrew word mekarer for fridge, mekarer, is very common, and I think nowadays it is more common than frigidaire. You will hear older people saying frigidaire, and personally, it always reminds me of my grandmother because dog noses are cold. She used to call dog noses frigidaire. So whenever I think of that word, that is the memory that comes up. Next is sellotape. Sellotape is our go-to word for Scotch tape. Probably the most common way we Israelis refer to clear adhesive tape, sellotape. And when we're talking about painter's tape or masking tape, we say masking tape. That is how everyone in Israel say it, masking tape, straight from English from the brand. Remember correction fluid or whiteout? In Israel, we call it Tipex because of the brand. Tipex, the brand name, became the word. And although you probably already knew some of the ones I mentioned, you definitely know these two. In Israel, we don't say table tennis. We say ping pong for table tennis, ping pong. And if you need petroleum jelly, we all say Vaseline, not Vaseline, Vaseline from the brand. So there you have it, the secret Hebrew that we Israelis actually speak that will make you super local and that nobody teaches. Brand names that became part of our everyday language and that I highly recommend that you use or at least recognize when Israelis say it to you. And here's the beautiful thing. When you use this stuff, you're not speaking Hebrew, you're speaking Israeli. You're a local, one of us. If that is the connection that you're looking for, this is a great way to achieve that. Check out my programs if you want to really transform your Hebrew in no time. Reading and writing, speaking and understanding, or both. Join my email list. It is really my VIP community. Tell me what brands became part of your everyday language in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. נתראה בסרטון הבא.